Hi everyone, welcome to Activate at Home's yoga class. Today we'll be doing a sun salutation flow, and I encourage you all to take slight movements in each pose, kind of see how your body's feeling today. The whole point is exploration. So let's get started. And for this flow, you might want a folded towel or blanket and a pillow, so just keep those nearby in case they'll help you out in the future. And we're starting with our feet hip width distance apart at the top of our mat, gathering our energy in front of us, and on a big inhale, reaching it up towards the sky. And we stay here breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Closing our eyes and feeling how our spine is elongated. And then on your next exhale, tighten your glutes and lean back for a slight back bend. Maybe taking circles with the wrists one way and then the other way. Maybe nodding the head forward and then nodding it back. Today is all about finding movement that feels good for you in these basic yoga shapes. Alrighty, on an inhale, we bring ourselves back to center. And on an exhale, we dive down into our first forward fold of the day. In forward fold, you might want to take a little bit of a sway with your hands and your head, side to side, maybe a figure 8 or a circle going in one way and then the other direction. And then on your next inhale, we lift up into flat back, putting our hands on either our shins or our upper thighs, sending our tailbone to the back of the mat and the crown of our head and our spine forward. Imagining that we are no longer a human being and instead we're a table. Trying to be as flat of a table as we can be so that people can put their coffee cups on us. And remember not to lock the knees in this position. I know it can be tempting because you're trying to make everything straight and flat. And then on an exhale, we rain it all back down into forward fold, making our head and our hands heavy, going as far down to the mat as we can today. And depending on how much stretching you've done today, this might be different. You'll notice in our later forward folds, it might look different. That's the cool thing about yoga, is you bring something new to the mat every time you practice. And then we plant our hands on our exhale, stepping our left foot back and our right foot back into our plank pose. Take a moment to make sure that your wrists are under your shoulders. And the tops of your feet are under your ankles. And then bring that butt down. And we stay in plank pose for a moment. If you want to take a movement forward and back, you are more than welcome to. If you feel secure in the stillness, you can also be still here. And then we're going to bring ourselves down towards the mat. The goal is for your chest to touch the mat first, but it might not, and that's okay. We've rolled our feet so that the tops of our feet are on our mat, and making sure that our hands are at our chest. We push up into cobra, and you can go into full up dog if that's in your practice, or you can stick with your cobra or even a baby cobra. And I invite you to take movement in whatever cobra you're in. And if cobra isn't in your practice at all, that's okay. You can take a child's pose here with your feet apart, or with your knees apart. Your knees should be the distance of the yoga mat, and your hands all the way forward, forehead kissing the mat. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can go straight into downward dog. But for now, we're all in cobra or child's pose or downward dog. And then we exhale back down to the mat. Curl our toes under, fire up those legs, and push ourselves into a plank. And then exhaling directly into downward dog. And you can turn your hands a little bit so that your forearms shine forward towards the top of your mat. And you can walk your dog out a little bit, massaging the bottom of your feet, if that helps you stretch your hamstrings. And if downward dog is not in your practice today, that's okay. You can bring your knees to the mat, keep your feet curled under, and then bring your hands and your forearms to the mat, taking a downward puppy pose, which should have the same feeling of downward dog, just without putting all of the weight into your hands, your wrists, your feet, and your ankles. All right. And from here, we bend our knees looking forward. We have 3 options. We can walk our way to the top of our mat, or we can step our way to the top of our mat, or if we're feeling energetic today, we can hop our way to the top of our mat. Either way, I will meet you at the top in forward fold, taking again a little sway if that felt nice last time. Maybe putting our hands, maybe losing our balance a little bit. Maybe putting our hands under our feet to stretch our hamstrings, or just finding some stillness. And then on an inhale, bring your hands to your shins or the tops of your thighs for a flat back, looping your shoulders back and pushing your hands onto your shins to create that flat back tension. Again, sending the tailbone back and the spine and crown of the head forward. Then we breathe here. Good work, guys. And on an exhale, we rain it all down. Before inhaling it all back up. And this time, if you like, I invite you to lace your fingers together and flip your palms. You certainly don't have to, but we're playing with different movements in this shape. And exhaling into a back bend. I enjoy a little flipped palm. Hang out in your back bend for a minute. Before, on an inhale, bringing yourself back to center. And on an exhale, releasing your hands and raining it all down forward towards the mat into your forward fold. And already, hopefully, you're feeling that your hamstrings are a little bit looser now that they're warmed up a bit. Take a sway, a figure eight, and then on the inhale, I welcome you to join me in flat back, pushing against your shins or your upper thighs, rolling your shoulders back, and breathing here for a moment, feeling the weight distribution in your feet. Taking a moment to be aware of everything that your body is, and seeing if there are any slight changes that you want to make to your pose before exhaling it all back down again into forward fold. And planting our palms, we'll take our right foot back this time, and then our left foot into our plank pose, taking a moment to make sure that our wrists are below our shoulders and the balls of our feet are below our heels, and taking a forward movement and a backward movement, saying hello to our kittens before we exhale it all the way down to the mat. Baker, I'm trying to exhale it all the way down. Before we tap our cat out of the way and exhale it all the way down, flipping our toes so that the tops of our feet are on the ground, and inhaling it up to cobra, maybe taking a little bit of a twist here. Maybe bringing our shins up, looking towards the sky, and then exhaling it all the way back down again. Now we tuck our toes under, fire up our legs, and push ourselves back up into plank before sending it all the way back into downward dog and twisting our hands so that our forearms shine forward. Maybe you take a moment here in stillness in downward dog. Maybe you continue to walk it out. Whatever is easiest for you. And then slowly we plant our left foot, bringing our right foot up. We send it forward into a lunge. And at this point, if you would like to send your left knee down to the ground, you can do that. I invite you to use your folded blanket or towel to support that back knee if it's on the ground. And we breathe here in our lunge. Make sure we're shining that chest forward. We don't want to be collapsing onto our knee. And then we're planting our left palm, bringing our right hand all the way up our body, and really trace your body with that hand, opening up into a twist. If this is hard on your wrist, feel free to ball your left hand. And then try to look at your right hand with your left eye in your twist. Breathing in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And then on your next exhale, slow and controlled, just like we got here. We rain it all down. Fire up your left leg if it's not already. And then bring your left foot to meet your right foot at the top of your mat. Taking your forward fold, maybe walking your feet back, lifting your heels, lifting the balls of your feet. Taking a motion in forward fold that feels nice. And then pushing your hands into your shins or the tops of your thighs and flattening your back. Exhale it down into forward fold. And inhale it, gathering all the way up. Maybe this time we touch our palms, if that's in our practice. And exhaling into our back bend. Before inhaling back to center and exhaling it all the way back down to forward fold. Good work, everybody. We're halfway there. Inhaling into forward fold. Pushing our palms, sending our hips back, our tailbone back, and our spine and crown forward. Maybe taking a little head movement here, if that feels good. Exhaling back down into forward fold. And then planting our palms, we'll step our right foot back and then our left foot. And make sure that your wrists are below your shoulders, the balls of your feet are below your heels. We take a plank pose, maybe moving forward and back. Before we, on an inhale, come onto our big toes all the way forward and lower ourselves down, making sure our hands are by our chest as we flip our toes so the top of our feet are on our mat, and then bring ourselves into cobra. For a moment, taking a twist, if that feels good. Enjoying the stillness. And then we exhale it all down. And flip our toes under. Fire ourselves up into plank. And push into downward dog. Turning those forearms to shine forward. We plant our right foot, take our left foot up into three-legged dog before pushing forward into a lunge. And again, you can drop your right knee if you would like to, or you can keep it fired up. And we drop our right hand, taking our left hand all the way up, tracing our body as we go. We try to look at our right hand with our left eye, or at our left hand with our right eye. Sorry, guys. And we inhale deep through our nose and out through our mouth. And then slow and controlled, we bring ourselves back up, bringing that right foot to meet our left foot, Maybe walking our legs out again, if that feels good. Flexing our toes a little bit. Inhaling and gathering up to flat back. And then exhaling, raining it all forward. And inhaling it all up to the top. Good job, guys. On an exhale, we take our back bend, tightening our glutes. Really feeling that back round. And on an inhale, we come to center before exhaling it all down again. And from here, we're going to pick up the pace of our sun salutation. On an inhale, coming into flat back. On an exhale, coming back down. Sending our feet out, right and then left. Feeling ourselves in plank. Inhaling down from plank. Flipping our feet, making sure our hands are at our chest. Inhaling into cobra. Exhaling it back down. Pushing up into plank. And then exhaling into downward dog. We bend our knees, look forward, come to the top of our mat, however you will. On an inhale, we come to flat back. On an exhale, we come into forward fold. And then on an inhale, we bring it all back up again. On an exhale, we come into our back bend. Inhale to center, exhale to down, into forward fold. Inhale to flat back, exhale to forward fold. Inhale to plant the palms, bring our left foot back, our right foot back. Exhale to bring it all down. Flip our feet. Inhale to cobra. Exhale it back down. Inhale to push into plank. Exhale into downward dog. And then we take a moment here before we drop our knees. Spread them apart the length of our yoga mat and drop ourselves down into child's pose. Good job, everyone. Those were some beautiful sun salutations. Hopefully you'll be able to take the exploration that you've taken with this practice into other practices, even if the positions don't seem quite as familiar. And rising up from child's pose, we can now take our savasana, kicking our furry friends off of our blankets for our savasana. There are many ways you can do this. You can use the pillow under your head. You can take your folded blanket or towel and put it under your shoulders as a support system. And then my personal favorite way to do things, I like to take my folded blanket or towel and roll it up so that it supports my spine. So I just take a nice roll, put that on the mat, and then I'll meet you lying down, palms up towards the sky, feet flat against an imaginary wall at the back of your mat. Inhaling deeply through your nose and exhaling long through your mouth. And we bring our focus to our breath during savasana. we remind ourselves that for this brief moment in Savasana, there is nothing else that we have to think about. Our attention is in our control, and we've chosen to think only of our breath. As human beings, it is natural to have more thoughts. They may enter without you even inviting them in. But as a human being, you are in control of whether or not you say hello to those thoughts and how much attention you give them. I invite you now to usher all of those thoughts to the door just as quickly as they enter your mind. And then focus again on your breath. The practice of mindful attention is not simply clearing your mind and never having a single thought, but instead mindful attention is being able to return your attention to your desired goal, whether that is focusing on your breath or focusing on something else. Your thoughts will stray, especially if you haven't practiced this a whole lot. But if you can bring them back to your breath, back to your mantra, then you are indeed practicing mindful attention. And then slowly start to bring life back into the tops of your toes and the tips of your fingers. Slowly curling your fingers, curling your toes. Maybe taking circles with the wrists or circles with the ankles. And slowly, in your own time, bringing yourself back up to a seated position. Whatever seated position is comfortable to you. Taking your hands in a prayer. Bringing your thumbs to touch your forehead, your third eye. And sweeping it all forward in a bow. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today and for sharing your light with mine. Have a wonderful day, guys. It was so wonderful practicing with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Bye.